Hello, my name is John Smith from England. Since the age of 13, I have wanted to be an English gentleman and an explorer. I was born a farmer, but by the time I reached my early 20s, I had been a sailor, a soldier, a pirate, and a slave. I was finally named an English gentleman after taking the heads off of 3 Turks in one-on-one competition. Now I'm setting out to obtain my dream of being an explorer. We were on a ship for 5 months sailing in the New World. I don't really know what happened because I was chained in the cargo hold for the last 13 weeks. They said I talk too much, but I think they're just jealous of my confidence and leadership skill. They were going to kill me, but company orders named me as a member of the government council, so here I am. The land is very nice, and we should be able to establish a good colony here in the name of England.
My name is William, and I am the youngest member of the 104 colonists to sail to the New World. I was on the ship Discovery. It was a long, hard voyage with lots of arguing and fighting among the colonists and crew. I am coming in search of gold, silver, and other riches, which I will use to bring family and friends over to this land of plenty. We will build a fort and claim this land for England. The French, Spanish, Dutch, and Russians already have outposts, but we will plan to build the best and soon the largest settlement. We are better prepared than the group 20 years ago that settled on the island of Roanoke. More ships with supplies and people will be coming. It is our job to build the fort and be ready for their arrival. The orders provided by the Virginia Company were read yesterday. I was happy to hear that John Smith would not be hanged for mutiny, because the charter named him to be the governing council. He is an impressive, powerful man that is very different from the other gentlemen. We are now preparing to sail further up the river to look for a suitable position to build a fort. We have seen a few natives watching us, but not have attempted any interaction. I think we will all be very happy in this bountiful and lush land.
It has been a year and it is not going so great. We have little food and no one seems to know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. People are dying each week from lack of food, water, and from diseases. I mean, it's just horrible. Someone really needs to take charge and do something about this. I have spent much of my time exploring the river and creating maps of the area. I have been gathering and documenting the local wildlife and vegetation. I lost several men after being attacked by the natives, but have now established a friendly relationship with them. I spend much time away from the fort, but if something does not change soon, this effort will fail. We should not have received supplies from London by now, but we are still waiting.
We have been here for a little over a year. It is very hard life in this land. It requires lots of hard work every day to just get by. Many of the gentlemen are not used to working and refuse to do much. We have lost almost half of our group and no ships have arrived. We built the fort on a small island that is connected to the mainland by a marsh. The marsh is full of mosquitoes that are constantly feeding on us. Most of the water is unsuitable for drinking or planting because we are still too close to the ocean and get too much salt in the water. The leadership has been too weak and something needs to be done before we all start. John Smith has been exploring and has begun to trade with the Indians for food. Those of us that are doing the work believe that Smith should be the president. If it was not for the food he was supplying, we would all starve. As for gold, silver, and other riches, I have seen very little of these. What I have seen a lot is trees and even more bugs and rats. I hope that we will have better days ahead.
I have just been elected president. I'm immediately making changes, starting with an organization on how Fort James will operate. From now on, if you don't work, you don't eat. That goes for everyone. Many of these settlers are lazy. They don't know how to work, and they can't get anything done. They continue to search for riches instead of establishing the necessities for long-term survival. We are now clearing land and building proper houses and sanitation. Groups are being organized for hunting, fishing, and agriculture. We can and will survive in this land. Some of what the colonists have left to go live with the natives, but they will find that life is just as hard.
John Smith took over as president and things did get much better for a while. He established a law that if you don't work, you don't eat. He organized groups to clear land and build houses. He has been a very good leader. Ships have arrived bringing more people but few supplies. Smith has been injured and is returning to England, and he said he will get us the provisions we need. I hope that we can survive without his leadership. A group of supply ships recently arrived, and they lost several ships on the voyage. One of the ships was the Sea Venture, which contained the majority of the supplies. I do not see how we are going to feed all these people.
I returned to England after my gunpowder pouch exploded and tore a large chunk out of my upper leg. I have spoken with the leadership of the Virginia Company, who had also received and understood my earlier hostile letter. They were sending too many people to Fort James and too few supplies. They have assured me that this will be reversed, and the settlers were now provisioned. The weather has also changed, and now the land is getting much needed rains, and the crops are starting to grow. I am happy to hear this and will remain an advocate for the survival of the colonies. I have started writing about all my adventures. My maps and other documentation gathered during my explorations is beginning organized and will soon be published. I plan to return to continue my explorations.
It has been 10 years since I arrived in this land. 1618. Can you believe it? The first years were so hard that only 30 of the original 104 survived. Several thousand have arrived, but nearly half were lost due primarily to the disease. The members of the Sea Venture, which was thought lost at sea, had actually been shipwrecked near an island. It took them 10 months, but they were able to build 2 new ships and made it to Fort James. They saw how few colonists were left, and we all decided to head back to England. We were met by a large fleet of ships as we reached the mouth of the river. Thanks to John Smith, the ships had everything we needed, and we turned back to the fort. Since then, things have gotten a lot better. We also found our riches by growing tobacco. John Rolfe, a member of the Sea Venture, found a strain of tobacco growing wild on the island they had wrecked on. It was very suitable to this land and has grown very well. We are now seeing the fruits of our hard labor. The natives do not seem pleased with us taking over more and more land. John Rolfe married the Indian princess Pocahontas, which greatly helped our relations. She died last year on a publicity tour in England. Her father, the chief, has also passed on, and our relations are starting to break down. But we are not too worried and continue to grow and prosper.